Greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome in today for episode 95 of the Podwans podcast. I'm your host, Char, joined by my co-hosts Luke.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
And Hereth Productions.
What's up, everybody?
We have 3 guests on today to cover Season 3, Episodes 10 and 11, Inside Man and Visions and Voices. Let's dive in.
The Jedi Knights are all but destroyed, and yet your task is not complete, Inquisitor. The Emperor has foreseen a new threat rising against him. The Podwans Podcast.
So, our 3 guests on today to talk about an Inside Man and Visions and Voices. Our first guest. She's maybe considered the 4th honorary member of the Podwans podcast, and every single time there's been Thrawn involved, she's been around in the picture. Let's bring in Alanis at Not a Kyber.
Hello.
Hello, my fellow Thrawn lover, Thras and Callus, and...
I have my Callus earrings in. They're lost in my hair right now, but they are in.
Oh, it's getting crushed.
I know.
But Alanis, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I feel like it's been a hot minute since I've been on here.
Yeah.
For me, it's been a while because
Yeah.
I haven't been on a live show in 3 weeks?
But you're not. Oh yeah, that sounds about right, actually.
Well, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. Last week I was gone. The week before that, I was going to Omaha, and yeah, that was a whole craziness. But yeah, for everyone in the chat, Luke and Alanis are kind of celebrating their anniversaries.
Well, no, it's not. No. Okay. First of all, let me just clear this up. Okay, our anniversary is on May 26th, but I sent her a gift early, and she sent me a gift early, and we allowed each other to open a gift.
Mostly because we're both extremely impatient.
Can you imagine the box that box was huge? It would have been gone. By the way, guys, I got Narsil. Throwing it out there. I am now the right king of Gondor.
You guys are impatient, and I admire it because I'm impatient too, and I'm sure Hereth is as well.
Okay.
But Alanis, thank you for coming on.
Thanks, bestie.
All right, and then our second guest on. She is, you can mostly find her on Narkina 5 with Kino Loy and Cassian Andor and all of his band of boys, because this is the biggest Rogue One fan and Andor fan that is around our community. Let's bring in M at Stardust M.
Hello. I was like, I paused right. My Wi-Fi went out right at the time. Hello.
What's going on, Em? How you doing?
I'm good. And Alanis, I just realized I also have Callus earrings, and I should have worn them.
Oh my god, twins.
But I didn't put them on, but I should have. But yeah, I'm good.
Good. So, Em, were you? Did you by chance go and save Kino Loy when he couldn't swim?
No, controversial take. I don't think Kino Loy should come back.
Oh.
Kino Loy gets to come back.
Mood.
Or if Kino Loy gets to come back, Gorn gets to come back too. Because I'm just saying, if the policy is we didn't see a body, Gorn got shot in the shoulder. So that's my trade-off.
Interesting take.
Well, I mean, I feel like Kino Loy could be one of the greatest club shitos of all time.
That is fair. He is
Yeah.
fucking Andy Serkis. There's the other caveat.
Yeah, Em, it's good to be. When was the last time you were on?
The honorable one.
Yeah, the last Callus episode.
And it was the same 3 fucking people, actually.
Which that was what, like earlier this season?
No, early last season.
That must have been like what, 2 months ago?
Yeah, I was telling Luke, it feels like forever since I've been on, but I just think it was because I was on for like 12 weeks. I was just on all the time.
Yeah, thanks for coming on.
And then our third and final guest, he just so happens to be wearing the same shirt as Hereth, but they look good. And he is our friend from across the pond, and he's here to talk about more Thrawn and partially some Darth Maul. Let's bring in Bale at Grandmaster Bale.
Hello.
Hey, Bill.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah.
another caveat: he doesn't have a sword, but I do.
Oh my god.
My sword will be bigger than yours, Luke, and that's not a euphemism.
Is it? Are you sure? Anyway.
First of all, I want to just say, I take this as personal slander. He will be coming back, and he will be cherished, and he will get a big old kiss. But yeah, other than that, hello, I'm back.
Don't worry, he was there on Scarif. No one knows though.
Yeah,
Melshi has intel that we weren't told. So
100%. He was swimming actually. That was where he was doing his swimming lessons.
Yeah, so true.
How's it going, man? It's been a bit. I know that you've been really busy with streaming Jedi Survivor.
Oh, mate, I've completed that game far too quickly.
You've completed the game?
No, 100%ing. I've nearly 100%ed it.
What the hell?
It's a Star Wars game. We should be crazy about that, you know?
I cannot put into words my obsession with Cal Kestis. Let's just put it there. But yeah, I've been very busy streaming and finishing my Game of Thrones obsession. But yeah, been good mostly. Thank you. Man.
Yeah, and then can we take a second just to like, Hereth, you can stand up and show your shirt, and Bale, you can stand up and show your shirt.
I shouldn't have mentioned this.
Yeah,
I shouldn't have mentioned this.
just the wolf, just the wolf, just the wolf.
Just the wolf. Okay, I can kind of hover.
Well,
There you
okay,
go.
first of all, I've
Other
got a
way,
question here.
other way,
Why
turn
the
around.
fuck does it have to have the wolf to be so far down? Like what?
Look,
Like,
right.
I'm
It's
who
trendy.
Does that? That's weird.
It looked way better in the Targaryen merch there, because the Targaryen merch was awful.
It looks better. It's look. Okay, me and Hereth both happen to be staple mark icons of fashion. It's not our fault that we're so fashionable on your podcast.
If you are fashionable, I don't know what.
Oh, you've got a sword in your hand, sunshine. Zip it.
It's very fashionable. it's very blingy, actually. So
Okay.
it's got
Well, mine
Elvish.
will
Do you
be
have
bigger.
Elvish?
Yeah, actually, I can write Elvish. Can you? Can you write Elvish? That's what I thought, Luke. That's what I thought.
Do you have an Elvish sword? No, you don't.
Yeah,
Trump,
no,
I
I got
win.
Sting. I got Sting. Luke, let's go. I got Sting.
All right.
I'm not afraid of you.
We're getting out of hand here.
Yeah,
All
we are
right.
getting out of hand, but it's sword. It's
So
fun.
we're gonna start with the icebreaker question. Since it is, I didn't know if you guys knew this. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, and we do have a teacher here.
No.
Alanis.
Yeah, if you guys could guess who the teacher is.
And
It wouldn't be me, actually.
I want everybody to go around and say who they would want their teacher to be in the Star Wars universe.
Oh, that's a really good question, Luke. Well done. That's a really good one. Okay, hold on.
Rapid
Yeah.
fire.
Now I got to think in terms of being myself, like war
Yes,
strategy,
yeah, like-
if I wanted to be a senator or if I wanted to just like
Is
I don't know.
Anything. If you wanted to be
General?
anybody, it's in
good- a
general.
good
in
role
general,
model in some
general.
respects.
In general.
Mm.
Being a good person, I'd say Cal Kestis in terms of strategy, Thrawn 100%. But generally, Cal's a good lad.
Obi-Wan.
I feel like if I am being realistic, Leia, if I am trying to fulfill every fanfic I've ever read, Thrawn.
Okay,
So-
that's right. Well, you and Bale, geez.
Yeah.
I think maybe generally Cantum Psi. I think honestly, like strategy or fighting, I think I'd go with Saw Gerrera. But
there we go.
yeah, but I think
There we
Cantum.
go.
Am I going to be outed for a fake fan because I don't know who Kanto Sai is? Is that
He's
from...
are they a High Republic? They are
I've not read Phase 2. I need to read Phase 2.
Jedi. No, Phase 1. They're the Jedi Master of Lula.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
in
She's
Midnight
Horizon.
Horizon.
Lula
And the
Adventures.
Yeah.
Adventures. Yeah, they don't
Okay,
make it
that's
into
where I've not
the
done.
adult trilogy at all, but
Gotcha. That's a good one.
Yeah. No, I've done the books, not the comics. I need to do the comics now. Cool.
Char.
Well, in terms of just being a person and also like I feel like that he would be a great mentor, but also a great dad. Like if I was his
Dad
kid, I'd say
figure.
Bail Organa because
Oh,
just
okay.
just because
oh yeah,
because we
That's a
see
good
like how much of an
one.
impact he is, like not just like around the people he is, but like for the galaxy, and
Mm-hmm.
also like just seeing the little
True.
snippet of him and Leia and Kenobi and their relationship. He's like, I want to go out way past Katho, and then they have like their little handshake, and it was just a really touching moment. But I feel like since Bale is such an icon, I feel like that I want to follow his footsteps.
Thank
So,
you, Char.
Yep.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
Hereth.
Well, probably because I have Jedi Survivor brain rot on the mind, but it's your agenda.
Gotcha.
Oh,
good one.
nice.
That's a
That's a
good
good
one,
one. That
actually.
is a
That's a
very
good
good
one.
one. Well, I've got a little surprise for Alanis, so we're gonna watch this.
What is this?
Alanis,
We're about to find out.
you have chosen to nurture hope as I once did. Your efforts are not unnoticed, for you have bestowed one of the greatest gifts in life to those who carry our future in their hands. I wish you all the best successes in life. May warriors' fortune smile upon you.
Hey, bestie. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. I know I wouldn't be where I am today if it weren't for the teachers that put in that extra effort and poured their love, support, and invested into my life. And I know that you are going to be that teacher for several of these kids in the future when they think about the teachers that impacted them because of all the love and care that you pour into your work. It will not go unappreciated. I love you, bestie. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Bestie Chris.
Happy Teacher Appreciation Day, Alanis. We just wanted to let you know that we appreciate you for everything that you do. I know sometimes it seems really difficult and hard, but you push through it and you are so amazing with what you do. Every time you send me things of what you've put together for your kids, I am always amazed, and I wish that I could be in your class. I'm so jealous of these kids that are getting to be taught by you, because I know that you're just an amazing teacher and you push through it and you're just incredible and you really shine. So thank you for what you do, and I know that those kids are going to come back to thank you too.
Hey bestie, Alanis. Oh my god, happy Teacher Appreciation Week. One of the best teachers out there that I know. Those kids are so lucky to have you as their teacher. Your creative spark, your passion is so infectious, and you're so amazing. And we as a community are so much better for having you in it. I hope you have a fantastic Teacher Appreciation Week, and thank you so much for being you. Bye, bestie.
Hi, Alanis. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week, but of course I appreciate you every week because you're such a good friend, and I love you so much, but you are definitely the coolest teacher I know. So I hope you have an amazing week, and I love you, and yeah, bye.
Hey, Alanis. Just want to say Happy Teachers Appreciation Month. I know how trying that can be and how challenging that is, but yet
Fucking love people.
He's a special and strong person to be able to do that, to teach other people's kids. But the way you do it is amazing. I love that you integrate Star Wars with your learning for your class and everything. So thank you for what you do. I love you as a person. Thank you as a teacher. And I haven't seen your teaching skills yet. But, happy Teachers Appreciation. Keep up the great work, and may the force be with you.
Alanis, my sister in the force. It is Teacher Appreciation Week, and so I just wanted to send along my appreciation for you, not only as like a teacher, but just as a human being in general, because you are absolutely amazing. You are such a special person. You are so witty and so brilliant and so beautiful. And in all honesty, watching your panel at Star Wars Celebration and seeing like the depth of passion that you have, not only for Star Wars, but for genuinely wanting to help people and make the world a better place, it legitimately almost moved me to tears. I have enjoyed getting to know you better so much over the past year, and I look forward to our continued adventures together. And I just wanted to let you know that you are seen and you are loved, and I hope that you are having an amazing week, feeling as loved and as seen as you very much deserve.
Hi, bestie. Happy Teacher Appreciation Week. You are awesome and a great teacher, and you're doing an amazing job even when you think you're not. I love you so much, and may the force be with you and all of that.
Hey, babe. Didn't know how you were going to take this, but I'm gonna go off. There's not much else I can really say. But you're amazing. Keep your head up. You, like Beth said, you are heard. You are seen. It might not seem like it, but you have a huge support group behind you. So we love you, and happy Teacher Appreciation Week.
Aw, guys, thanks.
I had to take you off Twitter Circle, by the way, for that. So now two can play at that game. There were
Recognizing Twitter circles.
There were others that wanted to be in it. They just didn't get it into me.
Thanks, everyone. I did notice that, Brooke. I'm like, wow, the bestie agenda has really come through.
That's your saying.
With you.
That's your saying. Yeah. Hey, bestie. You call everyone your bestie, so like I feel like it's kind of rubbed off on everyone. So
yeah.
We're all besties, communal besties. That's a cult, actually. Never mind.
I've always said Alanis owns the copyright on Bestie.
Yep. But with that out of the way, let's dive into the story of these two episodes. So, in typical Luke fashion, I completely forgot that visions and voices was even a thing. So,
ungrateful.
Here we are covering both episodes. First episode we're covering is The Inside Man. Ezra and Kanan go to Lothal, and their plan is to disrupt the creation of which they don't know of Thrawn's TIE Defender production. They go in. The rancher guy, the farm guy from the first season, can't remember his name.
Doug Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome.
Mr. Seymour.
Yeah. They infiltrate the facility. Callus and Pride and Thrawn are there. Thrawn notices that this is the only factory that is having issues with that are having issues with their machinery. He goes in. He basically snuffs out the rebels. Kanan and Ezra have to figure out a way to get out. They use Chopper. They push. They basically push. Ezra has a little bit of fun with Callus and force pushes him really hard, which I thoroughly enjoyed. And then they escaped. That's Inside Man, short and long of it. And then you got voices and visions and voices. Maul finally gets into Ezra's head. Ezra starts seeing him. He attacks the people on the rebel base. They go to the Bendu. The Bendu talks a little bit. Maul shows up. Maul takes him to Dathomir. Kanan and Sabine put a tracker in his gauntlet. They follow him. Maul and Ezra end up finding out that Obi-Wan is on Tatooine. They finish the vision of what they started in the Holocron episode. And then basically Maul goes, hey, join me again. And Ezra says no. And Maul takes off. And the Night Sisters take over. Dead Night Sisters take over Sabine and Kanan. Ezra saves them. And they're on their way. There you go. Long and short of that. All right. So, first question is going to be about the Inside Man. So, in this episode, how does Ezra's mission on Lothal and his encounters with Callus provide a deeper exploration of the themes of allegiance, betrayal, and redemption in the show and also in the Star Wars universe?
Well, that's like the whole point of it.
Isn't that all 9 movies in one?
Well, yeah, give me a little bit more, though. Come on.
I mean, there was one thing I did want to point out to regard of I guess Callus turning. The scene that you get where Thrawn pushes the guy on the speeder bike to the point of it exploding. You can notice the reactions, and there's a really stark parallel between Arinda Price and Callus. There's because Callus is shocked. He's almost kind of borderline horrified that Thrawn's essentially strapped a man to a bomb knowingly, and then just boom. But then you've got Callus's kind of look of shock, and then eventually we find out later in the episode that he is Fulcrum, which is, I guess, a foreshadowing. But that was one of the things that I did notice that I thought was quite cool.
Agreed. The other thing too that I really like about this episode, rewatching it, is right before, Thrawn does that. Callus basically says something along the lines of stand sharp, this is an inspection, yada yada yada.
Imperial High Command.
Then you bring in Thrawn.
Yep.
But he doesn't sound excited. Like when Callus barks orders, pre-honorable ones, it's very sharp, it's very confident. It's get in line, motherfuckers. And he just sounds so exhausted. And, it's covered up by the fact that, he relays that it's not a good surprise. So that, I think, is something really powerful about it and leads into, the themes of betrayal and allegiance. Because at this point, his allegiance to the Empire is gone.
It's also, the heaviest indication that we get that the thing that happened with Sabine wasn't a one-off. He says, tell Garrus that we're even, as a kind of way to throw us off that he is more committed to the cause. So yeah, when we're thinking about allegiance, the fact that his allegiance is fully to the rebellion is to in the sense that he says in that episode to Zeb and an extension the Ghost Crew for what they did to him or did for him in showing him the light, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting, to watch that subtle change in him, like you're saying, where he sounds more tired. He's not as enthusiastic and not as probably the only phrase I can come up is bootlicky as he might have been.
Honorable. Yappy's also a good term.
Yeah, yuppie. Like as Callus probably would have been with someone in high command like Thrawn pre-honorable ones.
Yeah, it does play into the whole, like, obviously Alanis kind of was just like being a smartass earlier, but it does fit into the whole scheme of redemption, because obviously that's the biggest thing of the entire saga, and even in Star Wars, what crosses the line of redemption? Like, what does, because there's obviously debates on whether Anakin was redeemed or not. Should he have been redeemed? Ben Solo, should he be? Is he being redeemed or not? Like, there's debates out there. So with Callus, how much redemption does he really need?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah, committing genocide on a planet, you know,
A lot.
Yeah,
And then
doesn't look
taunting
great
one
in
of the
personal
survivors of
record.
that genocide by saying, "I'm gonna kill
Yeah.
you." Like,
with the weapon I stole from your heritage and stab you with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we
yeah.
do see him straight up commit like murder in the first episode where he pulls
Oh,
that
absolutely.
random stormtrooper like off
No,
the
that's
thing.
my
Which, like,
favorite thing to point out about Callus. Like, one of the few early scenes we have of him, he is kicking
just
his
kicking
own man off of a cliff. I love it.
I love, like, this was a debate a while ago of like, can you work for the Empire and be good? And people were like, oh well, Callus. Except no, Callus was a horrible fucking person before Honorable One. The whole point of Callus's shift is specifically when he's pretending to work for the Empire, then he is good, yes. But like, and honestly, that makes his ultimate, like, this redemption better, is that he was so horrible and he was able to recognize that and actively take steps to become a better person. And it wasn't just a one-off saving someone and then dying. He was Fulcrum, and then after he was out of the Empire, he continued to work for the Rebel Alliance.
Well, yeah, he put himself on the line as well when he was like spying underneath, like in ISB as well. I mean, we've seen what the ISB do to people,
Yeah.
especially under Thrawn. But like the whole kind of concept of redemption really within Star Wars is ultimately it's just perspective. But yeah, I mean, I think you can definitely make the argument that no one in Star Wars has ever truly redeemed their past. But I'd say that Callus is definitely a good contender because there's a show of trying to do better. That and the fact that as well, and this is later in the series, he eventually goes to a bunch of Lasut people and tries to almost kind to them. That shows a lot that you've committed these atrocities and you're then willing to go to these people and try and make amends. Because I'll be honest, were I to commit an atrocity and murder a bunch of people, I wouldn't exactly want to go in a room with all their family. I think that would be a bit awkward. So I think with Callus in particular, it does push quite a good narrative of redemption.
And with the way the question is framed, it's like encounter with Callus right now. Has he been redeemed at this moment? No, but he's starting down that path and is starting to be better. I think that's kind of the takeaway, because it's like overall in the series near the end after the epilogue, sure. Right now, no.
I also think though at this point, had something very, very good happened within the Empire, I think Callus would have thought twice about staying with the rebellion. Now, I think a little bit down the line, I don't think the thought would have even crossed his mind, but I think there is still a little bit of hesitation.
He's not out in the open doing it. He's still trying to like...
Yeah, and I think that goes back to the tell Garazeb we're even. That is almost like he can still get out if he wants to. That can be a one-off thing, and then he can recommit to the Empire if he wants to. But I think, like, at this point when he's telling like Kanan and Ezra of all people that he is Fulcrum, like, I think that's his fully like, I'm in this now. I am committed.
Well, I mean, for me, I would say it's like the end of the episode. You have that interaction where Thrawn's just like, and we will turn them to our advantage. Won't we, Agent Callus? And Callus is just like...
That's the thing. Like, and that's my... I guess that's the other question is, does Thrawn already know that Callus is...
Yes.
Of course
Oh,
he does.
yeah.
Of course he does. The thing with Thrawn, you can read him in the books. He knows who's done it. Like, if you get like a whodunit book, Thrawn knows on page 1. You just can't prove it until the last one. Like, you got to wait for the Thrawn-splaining. You can't jump the gun. It's like jumping ahead in a chapter in a Thrawn book. You'll never understand what the hell's going on. To be honest, I still don't understand what the hell's going on. I just enjoy it. But, yeah.
I
100%.
really think, and I've thought this for a while now, that whole demonstration that Thrawn did with, strapping a guy to a live bomb was in a way to draw Callus out.
Yes.
Because I think in Thrawn's mind, he sees the rebels as such a compassionate, caring, put their life on the line for others.
Exactly.
And I think he was almost expecting either a rebel, specifically Callus, to jump in. And when he didn't, he was like, oh, this is going to be fun. And I think that's why he did the whole art, showing.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the whole, like, how if I can notice that Callus looked shocked, Thrawn fucking noticed it. Like, there's no way he didn't.
Anything else in this episode before we move on?
Let's talk about Maul.
Just how cool Thrawn is, that's it, really.
All right. Well, we're moving on to Thrawn and the Night Sisters.
Or Thrawn and the Night Sisters? That would be an interesting story.
Very different
Maul and
story.
I'm just trying to imagine Thrawn with Night Sisters. And he's like, screw you, Purgles, I got Night Sister magic!
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to see how much that man can get out of the Night Sisters from just, like, the architecture of that. That would be like an audiobook of my dreams.
Mark Thompson talking to
Thrawn
Night
narrating architecture.
Oh,
just looking at the architecture. Anyway, sorry.
So in Visions and Voices, my question is, so we see Ezra kind of deepening his connection. We've seen throughout this season that he has deepened his connection to the Force. How does his connection to the Force and his interactions with Maul and the Sith and Jedi holocrons provide a window into the complex nature of the Force and the perils of seeking too much power?
Well, I think the first thing of note is any time Maul is involved, it's like, especially at the beginning of the episode, study on the Force and how tetchy it can be, especially with light and dark, as we see with him using the holocron at the beginning of the season. But it really shows the kind of fine divide between the two sides, in my opinion.
I just also want to comment on the dramatic shift between Inside Man into this one. Because, like, watching them back and forth is, like... Because if you think about it, I think Inside Man is a very classic Star Wars story. You know what I mean? It's the story of, like you said before, redemption, betrayal, like, very spacey, life or deathy. And then suddenly the very first thing you see is this, like classic horror, like, scary, like, mixed with, like, Nightmare Before Christmas, like, Hot Topic surprise.
It's also so funny because both of these episodes leave characters off on, like, sort of major endpoints where you have, like, Zeb and, like, the whole Ghost crew, but, like, specifically Zeb now, like, processing what it means that, like, Callus is on their side and what it means that their time spent together, like, affected him that much. And then this one you have, like, at the end, Sabine picking up, like, the Darksaber and everything that has related to Mando. And then immediately the next episode is like, let's go to Geonosis.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, and we're not going to touch that for a few episodes. Moving on.
Yeah.
Also, it's like the fact that we go from like a political thriller and like this to like mystical Force bullshit on Dathomir.
Yeah.
Rebels has the weirdest flow, honestly.
But it works though, that's the thing.
Does anybody else have the same hot... I know me and M have the same feelings on Maul because I think he's the most overrated fucking character in all of Star Wars. But people are going to fight me and say that Anakin Skywalker is the most overrated, and that's fine. You can have that. You can have that opinion. That's
the
fine.
most overrated Star Wars character is General Grievous, by far.
I agree with Char.
He is up there. He's up there
I
as
kind
well.
of agree with that, yeah.
I
mean,
I think
this big
maybe
bad
I
guy
would
with 4
like
lightsabers
Maul.
can't even defeat a Jedi
Maybe
Master.
I could have been convinced to like Maul more if people didn't tell me to kill myself because I said it was overrated.
Also stems back to when I did the character bracket thing, I picked Finn over Maul.
As you should.
People lost their mind. I was like, I genuinely like Finn more than I like Darth Maul.
Because he's better.
He's just Maul's just literally the biggest flop failure of
and people were so mad. They were like, you haven't watched Clone Wars and Rebels. And it's like, I have. I just still like think he's like, I was like, it doesn't matter. Like, I just still think that he overall, like, I enjoy parts of his story, whatever, but overall, especially in comparison to other characters, the way people talk about him is like,
I think maybe I'm just not involved in those conversations because the only thing I ever hear about Maul is like he looked cool with double blade lightsaber and Phantom Menace. And from that aspect, definitely overrated. I think he's okay. I don't think he's like the best character in the world, or I think I don't know if I'd say overrated, but definitely maybe over idolized.
I would agree with Bale's kind of thing. It's like I get like if you're just like looking at just like his characterization of Phantom Menace because it doesn't fucking exist. But if we're looking at Clone Wars and Rebels, I would be like, yes. If you look at his overall arc, I wouldn't call him overrated.
I think my thing with Maul is like, I think his story is cool, it's compelling, it's interesting. Do I think it's anything special? No.
I think especially in Rebels where like we just talked about, like I feel like there's so many more compelling characters. I think
Ultimately,
Kanan,
yeah.
Callus, Hera, Zeb, all to me have way more compelling, interesting story arcs than Maul does. Like, I mean, especially even like Kanan and Ezra from the perspective of like Force users and people who like Kanan like and Maul kind of people who like lived through Order 66. Like I think that they just have more compelling stories, but also once again personal trauma. If somebody makes a video of Maul beheading you, it leaves a little bit of a sour taste in your mouth about the character.
Whoa, wait, what?
Yeah,
Okay,
I got told about this. It was pretty insane.
Somebody made a video, you know, because I said Maul was overrated, and they took that clip from Clone Wars where he beheads
season 7?
Vizsla. Yeah, and they put
They
a picture of me over Vizsla.
Jesus Christ.
And then that was up for like several days, and I only found out when somebody in the comments says, "Who is this?" so we can go attack them. And somebody tagged me, and that's how I found out about this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Star Wars fandom in 2 minutes.
People take fucking opinions far too far on the internet. Jesus Christ.
I know. I was like, girl.
No, yeah, I just don't get. He shows up in the Phantom Menace with 2 lightsabers, and that's what everybody jumped onto.
Yeah.
The problem is he's incredibly disjointed. You could tell there was no plan really for him to have any more when they introduced him in the Phantom Menace. And Dave Filoni was like, hey, why not kind of like bring him back and we'll do our own kind of spin on it? Which is cool, but you can tell that wasn't the point at the beginning. It's like it's a bit of a disjointed mess.
Yeah, and I even feel like some of this, even Rebels to Clone Wars, some of his stuff feels just disjointed, though I do absolutely love his creepy Satine Kryze shrine, which everyone comes and sees and is like, hey man, this is fucking weird, why did you take me here? Like, both Kira and Ezra are like,
it's like, what the fuck is that?
Like imagine having so much of a revenge boner, but you have to like draw like your like revenge is like victim's X on the wall, crosses X's in it. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, man?
It's when you put the thought process into how all those things got there, because like he wasn't on Dathomir, like he was with the Watch. Well, I can't remember what they're called. He was with them on Mandalore and wherever, like on Concordia. So after he killed her, he went out, probably some random bloke on the street was like, hey dude, do you have some artwork of the late Satine Kryze? Painted it. Like, probably hired the fucking white van man on Mandalore to drive the thing to Dathomir. Got it out, it's like, yeah, I'll get the fucking wheelie thing, wheel it in, pop it down.
Not him hitting up Luthen Real's antique shop to see what.
Oh my god!
Mandalore artwork he has.
Head
If
cannon.
if you look really closely in the background, you can see a little invoice just as Luthen's done.
I just imagine. I'm just trying to imagine Luthen and a Maul scene together.
Clay was like, I just wanted to get him out of this shop as soon as possible. This man's vibes were so fucking weird.
Gave him a bargain of a place, just get him out the door.
The vibes
but I did
not there.
want to say,
just take it.
briefly on the note of the thing, 'cause it reminded me of something. Symbolism of Maul with I'm going to try and pronounce this correctly.
Oh, don't even try.
Sisyphus.
Yeah,
Sisyphus.
I think that's especially nailed here because he is surrounded by his broken boulders. If you look at it, like that's one of the cool. That's the only thing I like about Maul's character. Really, is he's just destined to fail, and it's kind of funny because he's always ambitious. He's like, I will retake, and it's like, no, you won't, mate. You'll 6 months later, you'll have a picture of on your wall. You'll be all upset about it. You'll paint on it. You'll have a little temper tantrum, and you'll be fine.
And also, I can respect. I do respect any character who has like a really deep one-sided beef with another character. Like I do have mad respect for that. Like
I think my big thing with Maul is when they first brought him back in the Clone Wars, like he was again that traditional horror, like fucking creepy ass spider. And I wish they didn't listen to like the Dude Bros and they kept with that, because I actually prefer Maul in Rebels because he has that creepy fucking air. Like when we first see him again in the Sith Temple, he is like creeping around like a gremlin. Like he's a fucking freak. And I think that's where a lot of that disconnect between his character comes in, because he starts off as this freak and he ends as this freak, but in the middle we get this like weird dude bro, like I'm the king of Mandalore Maul that just doesn't really fit with this like creepy vibe that he started with.
It's like they've just changed the where they want to go with it. It's weird and kind of disjointed. Ugh.
Yeah, I agree. I like Maul, like kind of what you're saying, Alanis. Like I like Maul who wants power more for like this self-serving revenge rather than like this overall like revenge. And also I get to be like powerful leader. Like I like it when he's just like a creepy little like goblin like being like,
creepy little dude.
I'm gonna kill Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Like now when you mentioned it, it's kind of weird that the whole point of Mandalore wasn't even to defeat Sidious. It was just to get Mandalore.
Yeah, for the shit
just
of
doesn't,
it.
Just doesn't make sense.
No, it's for Maul. It's just a giant fuck you to Sidious. Like I got my power now too, bitches.
Mandalorian chairs. He wanted to just pose on the Mandalorian chair. Bo-Katan did a hell of a good pose on the Mandalorian chair. Hell, I'd go to war and retake Mandalore if I got to pose on that Mandalorian chair.
But yeah,
it was a bit. Ugh.
Oh my
Good job, Luke. Just kill yourself with a sword.
But that's gonna be it for my section. Char, you ready?
Yes, say it.
And now it's time for the lore of this.
That was no. Say it again. Say it again.
Say it again and
now,
mean it.
now it's time for Char's section. The lore of this episode.
There we go.
I'm proud of this podcast you have constructed. The ability to tell 3 interesting facts is insignificant next to the power of the lore.
And the lore for An Inside Man and Visions and Voices. So today's lore is titled A Bygone Era. In the Visions and Voices episode, we see the Darksaber underneath an eerie painting of Duchess Satine Kryze from the Clone Wars. In Star Wars, there have been plenty of connections to the Clone Wars in projects post-Clone Wars. Some examples: Kylo Ren suggesting a clone army after FN-2187's betrayal. B-1 battle droids in Babu Frick's workshop in The Rise of Skywalker. Night Sister Marin mentioning an armored warrior with lightsabers who destroyed her sisters when she was a child in Jedi Fallen Order. Doc Ondar purchasing Ki-Adi-Muണ്ടി's lightsaber in Jabba's palace around the time of Solo: A Star Wars Story. And many more. If I was able to get them all, I'd probably have 5 full pages of them. But everyone, of all the callbacks and connections we have to the Clone Wars in Star Wars, what is your favorite one?
Whenever I see a LAAT gunship being used, whether it's in Fallen Order or Jedi Survivor.
It's a good one. I'm gonna go with Trauma.
That's not an answer.
Okay, Dave Filoni.
Okay, look, I can say Trauma, and you know exactly what the hell I'm referring to.
No, stuff post Clone Wars brought back in, because it can't be like a flashback to Clone Wars.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh, it has to.
Like,
Okay.
like we saw the
I see what you're
Satine
saying.
picture, and we were like, oh, like remember her back from the Clone Wars? Like,
oh, like a throwback, right?
like there isn't just
John
paintings of
and
Order
Dave certainly
66
don't.
on walls. I mean, there probably is somewhere. Clone Wars.
Probably the stuff in Fallen Order actually, like on Zephyr exploring like the downed Venator and all of that. That was really cool. I really enjoyed that. Like all the little Easter eggs to little tiny things. I quite liked them. Cool ships.
Okay.
I'm drawing a blank right now. Yeah, I mean, I was like Saw Gerrera. I was like, I mean, I guess don't know if that counts, but I guess in Rebel Rising, Saw. It's one of my favorite conversations actually. That's Jin and Saw have, and he mentions Steal His Death and specifically how like the Jedi were there and they couldn't save her.
Yeah, and even in the next arc.
Yeah, he mentioned her too, yeah, but like that conversation where he talked about, and like specifically also really interesting is like the concept of like Steela as a martyr and how the rebel cause needs, and of course he's talking to Jin, so like how the rebel cause needs martyrs and someone that they can like, a cause that they can rally behind. So I guess that is like, I that is my like favorite post Clone Wars connection, is like the Steela to Jin, I guess. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, when I watched Clone Wars when I was younger, I was really hoping that, because I know that Saul was going to be in Rogue One, he was going to be in more projects. I was really hoping that he would mention Steela. And when he did, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, he also, I know in the novelization, like one of his like last, like his dying thoughts is about Steela.
Yeah.
So that's,
Yeah.
these are all sad ones.
See, Bale, trauma.
I think it's a tie between when I read the Thrawn book for the very first time and when they're bringing him to Palpatine and he's like, I knew General Skywalker. I was like, what?
That's a good one.
I was like, what?
That ending, that's a good one.
I was like, what?
That is a good one. That is a very good one. I like
that. That was really fun. The other one is I love seeing the end one in Mando.
Oh
Yeah,
that's a
a
good
really
one.
good one.
That
Really
is
good
another
one.
good one. Yeah, good job.
Yeah.
The other
Oh
one?
yeah, because I forget. Like I was just thinking about like the whole cloning thing with Dr. Pershing, and like don't they specifically mention the Kaminoans?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's TED Talk. Yeah, that's right.
Also like to mention an honorable mention when they're on Jabeam in Kenobi and the guy says General, all respect General to Obi-Wan. And it's like that's a callback to when he actually fought in Legends on that planet. They're making that canon. That would be dope.
Or that, and now you mentioned Kenobi, the stormtrooper asking for credits because that was.
Oh, you mean the clone?
Oh,
yeah,
that's
that's
a good
another
one.
good one.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a good
Hope a
one.
veteran get a warm meal.
Oh, I do like whatever Bo-Katan's like jab at Boba was about like his,
I've heard your voice thousands of times.
Yeah, I've heard that one's a good one too.
Well, I mean, Chase literally said my answer. I love the reactivation of the B1 battle droids in Mando, Bad Batch, and Survivor, and how like especially with like how it's used in Survivor. I'm not going to go into details because obviously the game just came out a week ago, but it's really cool seeing like how people are reactivating droids and like using them as war against the Imperials.
Yeah, I think Saw also trained, if I'm remembering, like trained. That's how like Jin would shoot at old battle droids on when she was first learning with Saw.
Yeah, and then also I got to mention Mr. Bones from Aftermath.
I was going to say
that's
Mr.
a good
Bones.
one
We
too.
love Mr. Bones.
But without further ado, if you guys want to comment on some Clone Wars moments, your favorite. But without further ado, let's dive into the interconnectedness of this episode.
There's no such thing as luck.
All right, let's dive into interconnectedness. We're not talking about Thrawn this week, so fuck you if you're thinking that. Instead, let's talk about Imperial encampments, primarily and/or relating to this episode of Rebels.
God.
Em's
Jesus Christ.
Em's gonna enjoy this.
Yep. Forced labor.
Yeah, forced labor, baby! In this episode, in Tideman, we see the Imperial factory that's for the TIE Defender project that's being carried on Lothal. How do these two parallels of oppressive systems with labor camps and the factories draw parallels to the Empire's control and mistreatment of workers?
Yeah, I mean, I think with the Empire, that was kind of like their end goal. Like, if you were not at the top, then who cares what you do? And I think this continued system of oppression is what they're eventually working towards. Because if you weren't the one who was being, in a, labor camp, in a prison camp, you were actively doing everything in your power to not be in that situation. And if you think about like a broad majority of people in the moment, I think a lot of us would be like, yes, I would be a rebel. But, faced in life and death situations, I truly don't know how many of us are going to choose, losing our lives over, eating.
Going further into that as well, the parallel drawn between, like, you could say Narkina 5 in this. There's a key difference in the fact that the Narkina 5 people were convicted of something. These are civilians.
Mhm.
Like this guy was the specific one that died. Can't say specific. Was working on a farm before the Empire took away said farm. And then they just shoved him into a work camp, which eventually had him killed. Like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I immediately, when the farm thing was mentioned, I was like, oh, Skeen. Because Skeen mentioned how his brother, I mean, he says he made it up. I have theories about that. But, like, and then he was also imprisoned by the Empire. But I also think it's interesting to see the evolution of, like, Imperial labor camps. Like, and specifically, I think in, like, Rebels and this, you can see that I think they realize that if you put people together on the same jobs, there is incentive eventually they rise up. And it's interesting then when you go to Rebel Rising, how in that book, when Jin's in an Imperial labor camp, they switch up the jobs that they do. They switch who they're with, so it is impossible for people to organize enough to either leave like they did in Narkina 5 or to sabotage the product like they did in this arc. So like how the Empire also adjusts to people figuring this out and has like a tighter grip on it is really interesting. Oh, and then also like this idea too of basically forcing people to engineer the weapons of their own destruction. Like you know you have the people of Lothal building speeders that Imperials ride around on and AT-ATs that attack them. And then obviously in Andor you have Cassian building parts of the Death Star, which will eventually kill him. It's so like that's so interesting to see like like literally the Empire forcing people to make the weapons that will kill them, and also like how you can use people for that.
And it's interesting because in the like episode, Thrawn literally points out to Arenda Price, like, why are we grabbing people from Lothal? This is stupid because they're basically, like you said, like they're basically creating weapons that are going to kill them. And Arenda Price is like, we literally had no choice. The deadlines are insane for the TIE Defender. So like I find that to be very interesting that like even the Empire doesn't want to grab people from Lothal because they see it as a bad sign. So it's like all these, like I said, all these different projects are literally interconnecting and having all these problems.
I mean, it also just shows you the Imperial perspective, really. It's just like, this is a backwater planet. It can work harder. We're going to push. Because like Lothal is on, I believe, the Outer Rim, I think.
The middle. It's like in the middle.
Is it mid-rim?
Yeah, it's like in that middle area of mid-rim outer. It's like still sort of mid-rim into outer rim.
Okay. Yeah. It's a mid-rim system, and they think they can exploit it. And even by the line of just pricing, we've just got deadlines, that already sums up the Imperial narrative. They just assume they can just do better because they're scum. Essentially, it's just the Empire seeing anything less than them, anything smaller than them as lesser, kind of.
Also, the idea that the Empire will exploit anything, like if they can't strip a planet for its resources, which Lothal had resources, like we know that from like the first Thrawn book. I think they talk about like all of the mining and stuff.
Yeah, Dunium.
Once they're done stripping that, then they'll go to the people next. And I think we see that in like Catalyst too. Like they'll see like how they just stripped the entire planet for resources for the Death Star. And once they're done with that, they'll strip the people for all of their worth.
What they did with, was it the one that planet Cassian's from? It's the one that's implied we don't really know.
Planet as a kid.
Kanari. Like Kanari, they say, oh, there was a mining disaster. Yeah, we all know that story. So there was also one on Jeddah.
But
like
also Kanari was happening during the Clone Wars, though. Mining stuff.
We don't know when the
but that's also a good. I mean, but that's a good point to say. How different were the Republic and the Empire really then? That it wasn't truly
towards,
the system
like,
of the
stage.
Empire. Then it was the Republic kind of just changing. That the Republic had already adapted Empire-like tactics towards the end.
I don't think we've got a specific date, the instance of explicitly the mining disaster. That they've kind of just said there has been one, and it was obviously after Cassian left. So I think it was said that the Empire declared it was that.
The mining disaster was before, because that's why there was. I think the idea is there was a mining disaster because that's what killed all the adults.
Yeah,
there was no adults because they all would have been working there, and that would have killed them. And then I think those Imperials were basically, or whoever was sent there, were coming to see what was left.
Right. Okay, that makes sense.
And that's why. And they were like, they're gonna kill him.
I hear Empire and mining disaster. I'm like,
yeah. When you hear Empire and that. It makes me want to lock my S-foils in attack position, you know what I mean?
Jesus Christ.
But that's the whole thing with the Empire. They only care about the end result. Like, they do not care how they get there. Oh, burn an entire planet? Okay. Explode an entire planet? Okay. Like
Scarif. That's their own data center, and they're just like, end result, the rebels don't get the shit, so blow it up.
Yeah. The Empire is the true definition of having no checks and balances. Like, they can just do whatever they want, and they know that, like, what's
no one will get in
their
way.
It's almost like a Hydra. You chop one off one head, two grow back kind of thing.
Yeah, and they'd rather destroy, like, they don't, even if destroying everything means in the end, like, what are you going to roll over? In the end, it doesn't matter to them, because in that moment, all that they care about is the immediate power that they have over.
I mean, look at Kashyyyk. Look at what happens to Kashyyyk in Legends. they almost completely destroy that forest planet in Legends, and I mean they
mean,
enslave the entire.
They gave it a go in
population.
canon.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
get
I was
they
like-
almost did it. They almost did it in canon as well.
I-
So it's like it's wild. And Alanis is absolutely right. This is what happens when governments don't have checks and balances,
Right.
because they can literally do whatever they want.
And it goes back literally to Nemec's speech in Andor.
Yeah, his manifesto.
And if you're wondering, visions and voices, I don't have a question because you already talked about Maul's characterization. So let's move into 3 interesting facts.
There we go.
3 interesting facts about a certain Rebels arc that you didn't know about until now. Part 34, an Inside Man / Visions and Voices edition. Fact 1, switched episodes. The broadcast order this episode, production number 311, aka an Inside Man, and 310, Visions and Voices, were swapped after production started, partially because thematic connections between 310 and 312. Fact 2, potential titles for Visions and Voices. Working titles for this episode included Dark Blade of Dathomir and Boy Who Cried Maul.
Oh, they should have done that one. I like that one way better.
Fact 3, origin of the TIE Defender. The TIE Defender design comes from the classic 1994 TIE Fighter video game from LucasArts, where it was depicted as the top-of-the-line Imperial fighter model. It seemed a philosophical departure for the Empire, pouring such resources into a small fighter craft. But now that a rather unconventional Imperial like Thrawn backing the project, its origins gain new focus. And there you have it. Those are the 3 interesting facts about an Inside Man and Visions and Voices.
Nice, Char. Nice. All right, we're gonna put these two. No, we'll rank one and then we'll rank the other. But Bale.
I would say Inside Man I'll give Grand Admiral, and Visions and Voices I'll give Small Admiral. I guess an Admiral. I would say Captain, but it's just above good for me, so I'll go with that.
I think I'd rank Inside Man at Admiral. Very good episode, but not my favorite Palace specific episode. And I'll give Visions and Voices like a lieutenant. I like how it sets up Sabine and the Darksaber, but I don't much care for the rest of it. It's there.
I was about to say matching them both by the same ranking would be like a very big conflict of interest for you.
Yeah. But I like how Sabine gets the Darksaber, and for setting up that arc, it has to get credit.
Inside Man, Grand Admiral. Maul one, I'm gonna say Captain, only because the tonal shift. But again, I do give it credit because I do love the Darksaber and the Clone Wars callbacks. It just feels weird.
It's in a weird place too. Like I said, like going from that to
Trust me.
the Inside Man to that to Geonosis.
Trust me. I watched it and then I went to the next episode and I go, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I forgot this even existed, and then I was like, wow, this is jarring. This is weird.
Yeah, and also it feels like it should be right before the Trials of the Darksaber. Like it feels like there should be no gap between that.
Yeah, you've got 3 episodes as well.
I also think like Inside Man would have flown better into Ghost of Geonosis, and then that would have flown better into Dathomir.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
Now you mentioned it, there is a really weird. So you got Through Imperial Eyes, Secret Cargo with a transporting Mothma, then 2 droids just fucking around for an episode.
Hey, don't disrespect the droids fucking around. That is one of the best episodes of Rebels. I don't want to hear that slander.
We got Alan Rickman as a droid. That's all I can say.
I mean,
anyway.
it's kind of crazy then too. Like before this, and then before an Inside Man is a fucking Hondo episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't say you don't like droid episodes, especially when Ford Into the Black is in here, okay, bud?
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I'm not saying I don't like him. I'm just saying it's a weird tone shift.
Crazy.
Hereth?
Well, I mean, Inside Man's probably an Admiral, and then I would say Visions and Voices is Captain.
I have the exact same rankings as Hereth. I give Inside Man Admiral, and I give Visions and Voices Captain, because Inside Man is a great episode. It just really fleshes out Thrawn and who Callus will eventually be in the future. But also, Visions and Voices, nothing really much happened other than Maul getting more into Ezra's head, which will just keep on stockpiling up until we get to like the Twin Sons episode.
Mine for Inside Man is Admiral, and for Visions and Voices, because it's a Maul-centric episode, it's a fucking lieutenant.
Luke and I agree on so little.
Yeah, I know.
But we're
We
really
agree, on the
level with this one.
we agree on not a ton, but that, It is.
At least you got that.
We all have our understanding of how overrated Maul is as a character. I will say them setting up Sabine for the Darksaber is kind of what gives it not an ensign for me. And kind of getting, and also the Obi-Wan mention was also another one for me. But
The Twin Sons setup is good because
Yes.
Twin Sons is a really good
Oh,
episode.
it's peak Rebels.
Twin Sons is great.
Twin Sons is great. Twin Sons is great.
Alanis, where can the good people find you on social media?
You can find me at Not a Kyber on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram. You can also follow me at Discovering the Galaxy. That is my teaching TikTok. Thank you again, everyone who sent a video. I love you. And then you can also follow me at is Agent Callus back, because where is he, Dave?
Which is like what? It's like day day 170 something.
No, we're day 3.
Well, we're
300.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're
like-
almost at a year.
I mean, the Twitter account, and then if you add on top how long it's been since the ending of Rebels,
it is a foul
Several
foul
years.
number. But one day, I
yeah.
can feel it.
Also, get yourself a girlfriend that gets you a sword.
I get myself swords.
I'm not gonna lie, Luke. It's been like seeing a kid playing with his fucking Christmas present.
It is so fucking empowering. You don't understand.
Okay, we'll go charge in public. We'll see what happens.
I literally could
Don't do that in America.
recite the goddamn hold your line. I could do it right now with this goddamn sword. But I'm not going to, because we're ending this podcast.
of the West.
Okay, Luke, do you mind if you stop ranting so we can
Sorry,
the good people can find out where M is?
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
M, where can the good people find you?
you can find me on TikTok at StardustM, on Twitter and Instagram at _StardustM, and you can find me on my podcast Kessel Run Relay with my co-hosts Liv and Hay. We did not upload an episode this week, but we just did our May the 4th special. So if you guys want to, we're so positive about Star Wars in that one. So if you just want to hear us talking happy about Star Wars,
awesome,
then you should go there.
When's the Maul episode?
Oh my god, M just shits a Maul for 3 straight hours.
Can I be a guest on that? Because I would
Yes.
love to do that.
Oh god, imagine just having Jesse on that panel.
Oh my god, that would be an amazing episode.
The thing is, it's bad because like we realize after our Phantom Menace episode, we all collectively don't really like the Phantom Menace, and then we like realize after that episode, we're like, we need to like get people on to like
Yeah.
to get when they like things. So it starts with all of us being like,
This
well,
is shit,
anyway,
this is shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
we
dear.
didn't like it, but
Char. Stop.
What? I want to look like you. I'm cool.
Bale, go.
Swords make me courageous.
Well, the good people can find me. Grandmaster Bale on pretty much everything. TikTok, Twitch especially, because I'm trying to do more streams now.
Yeah.
The Tinstagram, at _Grandmaster Bale.
Hold on. Did you just say
and-
Tinstagram?
Yeah, my mother's
Are you
rubbing off on me.
are you selling tit pics now? Is that what you're doing?
No,
Tinstagram?
Tinstagram. Tint. It's like a stupid. It's what my mum
Okay,
said
all right,
once.
go,
I
go,
just
go, go.
picked it up. Don't dirty it.
it's a
But
British thing.
it's a British thing, exactly. We think better over here. On Instagram, it's
Didn't say that.
_. No, I wouldn't. But _Grandmaster Bale. But other than that, and Twitter as well. But just go into my link tree, honestly. But yeah.
Hereth, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Well, you can find me at Hereth Productions on TikTok and Instagram, and of course, you can find me here at Hereth_edits on Twitter. Char, I know how you just noticed that, and you can find me here on the Pod Ones.
Oh, by the way, Bale is selling feet pics. So if you want feet pics, there you go. Feet pics.
This is the best I can do.
We're all just gonna end with swords.
Anyway, Char, where can the good people follow you on the social medias?
Good people, you can find me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at CharJS spelled right here. And you can find us here at the Pod Ones podcast every Thursday nights. We cover our Star Wars Rebels rewatch. Check us out next week as we cover Season 3, Episodes 12 and 13, as we cover the Ghosts of Geonosis.
Who will be on that episode? I don't know. It's
You'll
so
find out
long.
in a week.
It's like, oh,
Is that Saw Gerrera?
no, wait, hold on. So it's like
Is that
I feel like we
Sakaroa?
should make a meme of the Anchorman with the thing, and it's just M being like, "Is that Sakaroa?" And like it plays through that scene. It's like the birds are going. And you
Is
see
that my
M go
husband, Forrest
like this,
Whitaker?
and then she just shows up on the podcast. But
I don't think Forrest Whitaker wants to meet me. Forrest Whitaker probably has a restraining order out on me.
You can follow us at the Pod Ones on all social medias. That's gonna be it for this episode. We will be back next week, but that's gonna be it. And as always, may the force be with you.
Always.
Always. And also, may the swords be with you. Always.
Ah!